pointed that out.
Okay.
Today.
Yeah.
To Dean, yeah.
So I got it covered.
Yeah.
All right.
It is on the 15th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for bringing it up. It's funny that you said that. I pointed it out to Dean. Oh, shoot. Dates don't match up.
Right. Got two.
Okay, I've got 6:30. I will call to order the Monday, December 5th meeting of the Darlington Community School District Board of Education. Bob, do you acknowledge public notice? Yes, I do. Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call, please. Chris? Here. Frank?
Here.
Rats? Here, showing? Here. Stafford?
Yep.
Winslow? Here. Wolf? Here. And Zoom here. Item 3 is call for special appearance. Is anyone present who'd like to address the board? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, adoption of the agenda.
Motion approved.
Second. Motion by Schilling, second by Stafford to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 5 is approval of minutes from our meeting on November 21st.
Make motion to approve.
Motion by Winslow, second by Schilling. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 6, the treasurer's report. Let's see that in board book. Any comments or questions on the treasurer's report? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 7, introduction of new teacher.
We're gonna try to have this be a regular part of the board meeting. We'll introduce a new staff member, and so Flanagan's gonna take over.
Hi.
How are you? Really good awkward interactions. Accuse me of being a robot. They're probably right. So this is Sydney Woyak. She is new this year to our building in our district. She is from Albany originally. She might have played basketball against Blackhawk a few times and lost. But that's, we're not here to talk about that. She went to UW-Madison then and got her degree in special education and had worked at Whitewater for a couple of years. We worked really hard to draw her away from that district because we knew we wanted her on our staff. And she's presently working with our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. She stands out to me as somebody who really understands kids when I watch her interact with students and to encourage them to do their best, to overcome the difficulties that they face. She has, she's a kid whisperer. She's able to get them to shift their mindset, to look at themselves in as more capable than they might normally. And she's just been a wonderful asset to our staff. So happy to introduce her. She's got a 5-minute dissertation then. That's why she's awesome.
Quite that impressive. Mike's really the reason I'm here. I've known him for a while and he called several times this summer and then I finally came over and had some past connections to Darlington with college roommates, things like that. Some not so fun rivalries in high school, but yeah, I'm happy to be here and I really like it here so far. So thank you.
Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming here. All right, guys. Item 8 is discussion and action regarding a donation. We will strong would like to donate $716 to purchase wagons for the Dems LMC.
So moved. Thank them. Second.
Motion by Zuber, second by Schilling to accept that donation with our thanks. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 9, discussion and action regarding teacher overload pay.
This would be Talita Austin's an ESL teacher in the DEM building due to recent schedule changes in caseload. She no longer is able to have a normal schedule. She has to be on overload to get everything to fit.
Should approve.
Second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Winslow to approve the overload pay. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 10, discussion and action regarding allowing bus pickup of open enrolled students.
Family that have students in the Mineral Point School District recently moved and they're in the Darlington School District, but they're right on the borderline. They're requesting permission to allow the Mineral Point bus to come pick them up. It's something that legally we're not required to allow that bus to come into our district and pick up kids. In this case, I'm gonna recommend that we allow it. It's right on the borderline. The bus has the
This
right.
is not our district, correct?
What's that?
This is not our.
It is our
district. But where our bus is not picking them up.
No,
Correct.
their
Okay.
bus wants to come into our school district.
I'm fine with that. It's just that we go the other way. It's a slippery slope because we had that argument over and over.
We do something.
Does the
Belmont bus
pick up in our
district?
Not that I know of.
We have something.
There's been shells.
Belmont drives my house every day.
It
Yeah.
may be something that preceded me.
Yeah, there is.
On top of the hill there?
Yes.
What you might be thinking about, Matt, is somebody come in and want to switch their.
Oh, we said no to people.
Yeah,
that-
and they want
Yeah.
to switch their land.
Was to pick up, so.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve.
But they're outside. They're not on the road. Second.
Motion by Zuber, second by Schilling to approve allowing bus pickup for that student. That family, I suppose. Any further discussion?
Will that be just for this year or in case it would create some type of commotion to follow with somebody that's in our district? Will be reevaluated next year, no, or?
You could make a motion that it's only for this year. I guess I wasn't proposing that, but
I don't see why. I don't see anything changing. Didn't we not do something before for some of ours? No, they wanted to move.
They want to move it.
They want to move they want to move, yes.
No, we said no to picking up some people that are in our district.
In our district.
Side of our bus routes.
Yes. Right, that's what it was. Yeah, I think.
Not very far, but, and we had picked up people on roads past their house. But where they built was technically not
Get that.
in our district. Because it does, if it's a slippery slope,
That's what I say. That's what.
as long as it's not. Our
Right.
bus picking them up, I don't have a problem with it.
So the motion is ongoing, not for just 1 year. So,
Yeah.
and it's to allow their bus. to pick up those kids, not ours.
yeah, and the road the bus goes down is the line of the district. So it's,
So the bus kid goes down that road anyways, is what?
yes, it's not like the bus is driving in through Darlington's district. It's on the border.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We've already got a motion.
Okay, never mind. I approve. Good job.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Item 11, discussion and action regarding purchase of portable AEDs.
At the last meeting, we purchased, or somewhat recently, we purchased several new AEDs for all around the district. And when they came in, we were discussing what a good thing that was, and question came up about football practice, baseball practice. Do we need portable ones out there? So I put that on for tonight, purchase of 3 more AEDs. They're portable, 1 for each concession stand, be football, baseball, and softball. Because sometimes things could be going on at all 3 of those places at the same time. The price is the same as for the ones we just paid. There's no extra charge to make it portable. It's just a different case. You pick what kind of case you want. It can be a case that goes in the wall, or it can be a case that just has battery pack with it. These are, I want to say $65, some extra set of pads or something, but almost the same price as last time.
But we're gonna storm in them, because they can't be outside in the winter time. They can't be frozen.
Yeah, they're, so we can bring them in every night, pick them up.
Who's gonna do that?
Yeah.
And we have someone in practice
You could have a bag that they were in.
capable of utilizing them.
Yeah, coach is supposed to be trained on them. Yeah. Most coaches are supposed to be CPR trained. I believe, all our coaches CPR.
Mhm. I believe so, yeah.
Head coaches are
Yeah.
supposed to be CPR trained.
Are they?
That'd be a question for the athletic director, but
Pretty sure we require. Pretty sure they're supposed to be.
Just confirm that coaches are comfortable using these things, right?
Are you planning on like the off season of putting them in the school somewhere? And
I
like
would.
utilize them within the school if we're not, say like softball's obviously not going on right now, are you? Planning on putting them in like a different wing or something like that for,
At a minimum, we're not leaving them out there, all winter. They'd be inside. Now, whether they were inside at a strategically located.
You could
place
probably put one in the middle
where they
school
can use.
gym, because right now the only one in the building is right out here in the hallway.
right?
So you can throw one in the gym and. Is there one in the high school gym or is it outside the high school gym? The hallway, it was right out in the hallway, I believe.
Yeah.
we have one in the middle school gym now.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
we put one in there.
I was just telling Kale not that this made a difference, but said I got the opportunity to use DeForest defibrillators this weekend.
Oh, really?
So we went down on Saturday.
Yeah.
Did it work?
It did work. I didn't have to use it, but it worked and everything was ready to roll. Thought we are gonna have to use it, but Yeah.
What's the shelf life of these?
Depends on what kind you have.
yeah,
It's anywhere from 10 to 20 years, depending on what type you got.
like ours were 2011 or 2010.
We actually looked it up. They were good for another year or two. Yeah, so.
A lot of times you may have to get pads, the sticky pads or sometimes those can go bad, the gel in them. But they usually have an expiration date on them. Someone just got to make sure someone's in charge of checking them. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Motion by Zuber, second by Winslow to approve the purchase of 3 portable AEDs. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Item 12, discussion and action regarding creation of new positions, including ESL director, ESL secretary, and ESL teacher.
Yeah, the first two of these, A and B, kind of go together. The third one, the additional ESL teacher, is something that the board approved. Might be over a year ago, posting this position just to see what we would get for a response, and we never have had any good qualified applicants during that time until just recently. So this is just coincidence that we found a good candidate for the teacher position that we've had posted for so long at the same time that we're requesting these other two. The director and the secretary position, you heard about at the last meeting, a PowerPoint presentation by our ESL staff, saw the job description and duties and that kind of thing. The teacher, we'll get to hiring them at the end, but we found a real good candidate for that. And one of our current teachers is only on a substitute basis and possibly a contract for the rest of this year only. So good chance we'd still be looking for another teacher anyway.
So what are you saying? You want a motion to approve a director and a secretary also?
Correct. The personnel committee met last week and heard the rationale for this, and they're bringing forward this recommendation.
Do you think for a year, there's a possibility that you hire somebody to do both?
For sure, yeah. We're gonna post both of them, or if they're approved, the plan would be to post both of them. If we don't find somebody that's a real good fit for either or both positions, we're not gonna hire someone just to have somebody in there. So the idea that we right away would get a very qualified bilingual person to be a secretary. The one person could end up, I could very easily see doing both jobs for some period of time until we find that person.
I kind of think, I'm kind of following Rick's lead here, but I kind of think until we get into it all the way, getting two people right away might be almost overdoing it. You know, like, let's find somebody to kind of start this program going and then see what we need on help on that side. I mean,
But here's the other thing too, if even getting it going, just having two extra bodies that can translate and not having to pull people, you know, out of classrooms would be helpful as well.
I think we're already well into it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at, what were the numbers? We have 250 ESL kids in this district where, our special ed program has 110. So and if we can get two people right away, it may seem like it's overkill right away when we don't really have like that program set up yet, but we'll utilize them either way.
The rationale that the ESL teachers presented at the last board meeting and that we talked about the personnel committee. I really feel like this is one of those, we get an ESL secretary in this district. It's not gonna be a question of, do they have enough to do? It's gonna be, they're gonna be overwhelmed, yeah.
So as far as, and maybe Kaylee can answer that too, as far as the ESL director, like, what are we looking for as far as qualifications? Are they, what educational background do they have to do that? Like if someone comes in and says, hey, I want to be the ESL director. What do we?
Ultimately, we'd love for someone that had experience as an ESL director.
Okay.
Who can really push our program forward.
are we able to find anybody like that? I mean, there's not a lot of. I'm an optimist, I know, but, there's not a lot of schools in exactly like ours in situations, so.
Here's another question. Your ideal candidate for this spot, so you'd have an experience as an ESL director in another district or wherever. What other, would you like a master's degree? What's ideal
Yeah.
for that? Or what would be your minimal of like, they have to have this in order to even?
Yeah. Ideally, it'd be great if we could pull someone else onto our team because we really have a solidified team right now.
Yeah.
Just to pull another candidate from out of district would be awesome with ESL experience so that they've at least worked in a classroom. They have, their masters. And then they've worked as an ESL director. I think we all have qualifications for that, but I think what our program is looking for is someone with experience to say, this is what we need to do to move forward.
Okay.
So experience would be great at this point.
So kind of have a vision of where we're going instead of like, oh, we gotta sit down and figure it out. type
So
thing.
to hire a secretary to do the bilingual position isn't gonna be sufficient.
Okay.
Perhaps the other way around, but you can't have the secretary do what we want for
Correct.
an ESL director.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
What type of salary are we looking at for an ESL director?
Probably similar to the special ed director.
Okay.
Yeah, when you are a principal in some leadership positions, there are certifications required for that. This isn't like that. This would be more based on experience in that area.
I'm for one, not two right now, just jumping in the middle of the year like that. Obviously, if you found two of the right people, but I'm just not for hiring two people. I think it's a big step just getting a ESL secretary. Neither one of them are budgeted for this year, correct? That's what you just told me. I mean, if they would have come to us and said we needed 4 people, would we be asking for 4 tonight? I'm just asking.
We would have had to see the justification. I'm for hiring 2 people, but if we are gonna do one, the one that I think would make the most sense is start with the director and let that person create the list of duties and things specifically for the secretary and then be in on the interviews for the secretary whenever that came.
I think it's gonna be a lot harder to find a director though, don't you think?
You're not gonna know until you put it out there.
Who?
I think it's long overdue.
Yeah.
The 250 kids.
And how many times, Gil, on average, how
Growing.
many times do you get pulled out of class to go translate over the phone or something?
Yeah.
In a day?
Yeah. And the reason that we were because I think that makes good sense, Matt, but the reason we were pushing for the secretary is we do have two people right now that could fill that role, which we don't usually have people to fill those roles. So that's.
So you do have somebody that'll fill the ESL secretary, you
We have
believe?
interest, yeah. Mhm.
I'd hate to see us just do the director and then have that person hamstrung by always having to do things that would be the secretary's duties, like we're paying someone a director's salary to do these higher level things. I would hate to have them always having to do these other things that we could pay someone much less to do.
I'll make a motion to create the ESL director position.
But not the secretary?
Um,
You see where we're going here?
they're two different motions, unless we want to.
Okay, so you only want to make a motion of the one.
I'll make a motion to post for the ESL director and secretary's position.
Second.
Motion by Hermanson, second by Schilling to create those two positions and post for them. Any discussion on the motion?
The only thing I would say is, you don't settle. I've seen directors in so many businesses get hired. It's just another director position and, sometimes the value you get out of them, especially in a new position like this, you really don't even know exactly what you're gonna ask them of. So I see it being a slippery slope and it could be a, I don't know. That's my feeling. It's gonna take a special person for me to approve a director is what I'm trying to say. That's where I'm at.
I think we should split them up. Vote on that way. But got a motion we can vote on.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
No.
Can't tell by the voice vote. Let's have a roll call.
Zoom Biller,
Yes.
Stafferty,
No.
Christ,
No.
Winslow,
Yes.
Bank,
No.
Schilling,
Yes.
Wolf,
Yes.
Hermanson, yes.
Okay, so that.
5-3.
Passes. In the ESL teacher position, we're gonna take action on a hire.
Well, we need to create the position now and then if it's approved, we'll hire them.
I thought we already had one from last
It's
year.
already approved though.
The board approved, I mean, maybe I'm overdoing this, but the board approved posting the position to see what we get. I didn't take that as you have permission to hire them.
So do we have permission to hire the director and secretary?
Well, now we do.
So I'm assuming the ESL would be approved of that. I'm just saying,
It's a little neater if we have another motion.
whatever works.
ESL teacher, second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Slavic to approve that. And as far as staffing level goes, I mean, these are three positions, but after this school year's over, it's really gonna be only an increase of two bodies, two people.
Yeah, one of our current ESL teachers is working as a long-term sub, and we're gonna ask actually later in the meeting, if we can hire her on a contract that only extends to the rest of this year. So, correct.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, passes. Item 13, discussion and action regarding early graduation request.
Mr. Moyer? Are you on here?
Yes, I am.
You want to take this one?
Yep. You included it, Kale, in the board notes and everything, didn't you?
I said that the paperwork wasn't in yet. We weren't sure, but there was a possibility we were gonna need this on.
Okay. I guess, do you want me to say names or just let you know that we have another? How do you want to go
Yeah,
about
probably
this?
just, we have not the name, yeah.
Okay. We have a young man who has finished up at options up in Mineral Point. And at this point, he is ready to go on with the next chapter of his life. He wants to get out in the working world and actually start working and then eventually have enough money to go to college. But right now his short-term plans are to get a job. And so he's working on that now. So he's asking to graduate early. This would be our final recommendation to the board. This is the fourth one.
Was this in
No.
by the due date and time?
Yep, they got to be in before the last meeting before Christmas break. So today was actually our deadline, but we got the other ones done early, and this was one we had to finish up. So today was, between Mr. Uppanaw and I, this was our deadline date that we wanted them in by, just in case there are any questions or we had to come back to you on the 19th.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve then.
Second.
Motion by Chris, second by Zubeer to approve that early graduation request. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, motion passes. Item 14, discussion action regarding second readings of policies. So this is prevailing wage, non-discrimination, expulsion, capitalization threshold, and high school semester exam policies. Discussed them previously in different places, but if anybody has questions, now's your chance.
This final reading.
Yep, we can,
We just
one
need-
motion to approve them all, I think would be appropriate. Unless you want to split them up.
Motion to approve all as presented.
Second. Motion by Zubeer, second by Winslow to approve all of those policies as presented. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
That bill you sent out the other day from that COVID, was that the new bill that we still had to pay, or is that the difference of the bill for the? What is that?
Prevailing wage.
Yeah, the prevailing wage.
That's what we owe on top.
That's what we have on top of it.
Okay, item 15, superintendent, principals, activities director, and building and grounds reports. Gail?
We're in the middle of a civil rights audit. We had a check-in today with the lady from the DPI, monitoring our progress. Things are going well. We actually have been this entire school year to get all these things checked off the list, and it's looking like there's a reasonable chance it may actually be done and signed off on before we leave for the Christmas break. I think Lee did a lot of work, Mr. Flanagan and Mr. Moyer, Mr. Uppana. Lindsay, Chris at the high school, and doing all the work, being the conduit between us and them entering the stuff in, so thank you to all them. Number two, there's a Mental Health Matters Day coming up at the high school on January 25th. I thank Mr. Uppana putting a lot of effort into that. It's going to be for grades 7 through 12. And final thing I have is we need an infrastructure committee. The bids for the FEMA gym are out. The contractors are working on them right now. The opening of the bids is going to be 2 o'clock on December 8th. So we need an infrastructure committee meeting sometime between the 9th and then the next board meeting to have that ready to be approved. There's a couple other things we need that committee for too. So sometime before we leave tonight, if we could get some schedule between December 9th and the 18th, that would be good.
Wednesday.
Sure.
Now we're infrastructure.
Works for me.
Infrastructure, Chris Gratz, I think.
What, I'm sorry.
6 o'clock on the 14th.
14th, Wednesday night.
Sure.
Scale, Mike?
All right, so distributed copies of my principal's report, try to
Let's through it here. Our Rosie staff members of the week, Dana Wadig for November 28th and Steve Fitzsimons for this week. So congratulations to both of them. The last board meeting, I forgot to mention that the Quiz Bowl happened at Southwest Tech recently. We had a 7th and an 8th grade team. I've listed those 7th grade members: Barrett Cecil, Jacob Hammer, Joanna Ortiz, and Lucas Olson, and then the 8th grade members, Max Martin, Marta Raleigh, Marcus Kendall, and Brady Jones. Each team represented the district well. Individually, Barrett Cecil, a 7th grader, was 2nd overall, and Marta Raleigh placed 3rd in the 8th grade division. So lots of good things. Congratulations to all those participants and to Gene O'Neill for organizing. Project Lead the Way, something that was in place well before I was a part of the district. Over time, that initiative has, with staff turnover and emphasis on other curricular initiatives, it's diminished in use. So I talked with teachers and we determined that the level of participation doesn't really warrant the cost of continuing the program. Teachers still have a lot of resources and the materials that they've used to actuate that program. And so they've felt comfortable with letting that subscription lapse and just retaining the parts that they've found value in. I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that. I got duct tape to a wall in the cafeteria during 5-8 lunch on November 23rd. Students paid $1 for each piece of tape, and that was spearheaded by 3 students: Annika Johnson, Loudon McGowan, and Lila Olson. They raised over $720. That will be donated to Relay for Life, and that was organized by Danielle Hardiman. And then Steve Winslow organized a live stream so that the K-4 students could watch. And then just the last update, we continue to have high levels of collaboration going on throughout the building. The research says that collective teacher efficacy is the #1 determinant in student learning. And if that's the case, well, we have a lot of teachers doing that. They're sharing learning targets, instructional strategies, reteaching methods, assessment practices, and the result of that is more student growth. So the more teachers are talking about their work and how to better the teaching so that the student learning improves, the better we become. So I want to commend all of our teachers and specialists for making that happen. Some upcoming 7th and 8th grade career speaker tomorrow. That's Bergen Farms coming in to talk to those grade levels. Got a faculty meeting on Wednesday, as well as an Ozobot in service. I went to the LMC and asked what an Ozobot is, and this is what I found. So the kids get experience with coding. They're able to program these little doohickeys, and they'll get you coffee and vacuum. No, they do simple things like turn right, turn left, but it's a neat opportunity for kids to experience with program coding and get them involved in interested in the STEM stuff. So I can't wait to play with mine. His name is Fred. Mrs. Nodorf is attending a conference in the Dells later this week. That's titled Building the Heart of Successful Schools. She shared with me some of the breakout sessions she'll be attending, but I'm sure she'll bring back a wealth of information. Our 2nd grade heads to the Nutcracker on Friday in Platteville, and they'll be gone for the morning. We have a holiday concert coming up on Monday, December 12th. Looking forward to that. And then our 7th grade next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday, attends the Christmas Carol at the Overture Center. I get to go along for that field trip, so that's exciting. Family Fun Night is taking place on December 15th. I asked Gene about that. We will have some students from UW Platteville come in. They'll do activities, mini lessons with kids. Well, I don't know about mini lessons, but they'll do activities with the kids that have a learning element to them, as well as some entertainment. There'll be staff who will then supervise those activities, but that takes place on December 15th. It's existed for a while, and it's a great community outreach effort. And then last thing, Dem's holiday dress-up days will begin on Monday, December 19th. You see them listed there. All kinds of fun at Dem's.
I just emailed you picture of him taped to the wall. I don't know if you can get it.
Oh, broadcast.
I've seen it.
Hey, Mike, was that Project Leadway, is that some part of the classes they had to take as seventh and eighth graders?
So we're going to look to change that because it sounds like that. It sounds like that policy is a little bit antiquated. So we'll just make sure that kids who would have,
Nice.
that they're not beholden to that after these classes.
Okay, I've heard some conversations about like you had to have so many Project Leadway classes, but
Yeah.
I just.
At one point, that was the case, and somebody asked me about that, and I did not realize that at the time either, but I think there's a lot of value to it, but it just like a lot of things, maybe lost its traction. And with every I did find out today, with every staff, with every addition of staff, you would have to retrain that
You have to be
staff.
certified as a
You have to
staff
be
member, right?
certified as a staff member, and there's a cost associated with that on top of what we're already paying, so I just found that didn't have the leverage that would, but necessitated the fee, so if that makes sense.
Thanks, Mike. Rich?
Yeah, I'm gonna start off with when we were talking about the portable AEDs. I sent Pat a text quick and just asked him about our coaches being certified, and his response was, all coaches, paid and volunteer, are CPR certified. Now, I'm taking that as high school because I know they have to be. I can't verify junior high, but I wanted to share that with you. So his response was all coaches. Our staff has begun discussing and preparing for semester exams. They are not until the third week in January, but with some new staff members, we began having those discussions and prepping for those semester exams coming up before we know it. Want to thank Patty Taylor and those who helped her come up with the fun activities, fun daily activities, dress-up days that are planned for our staff leading up to the holiday break. Those begin on Wednesday, the 7th. We had a couple of students that are looking to attend Southwest Tech for the second semester. They are working with Mr. Uppinall. They're looking to get a start on their college careers. We have spring play editions scheduled for the week of December 12th. Mentioned that we did our Alpha Wellness group asked for a wellness day. So with Mike, Kale, and I, we talked about switching the 9th and the 16th. So December 9th will be a P day, a planning day for our staff. The 16th will be what was supposed to be a C day, will be a wellness day. And I also believe that's the day that our education association comes in and awards their gifts for that. They're going to come in during that time and award the gifts that were to hand out that day. Our holiday concert is December 19th at 7:00. And then I want to give a shout out to our custodial staff in both buildings. They have been extremely helpful. They have had vacations, some of their members out due to sickness, but no matter what has happened, they have covered our events, made sure the buildings are clean. So I just want to give them a big shout out and a thank you to them for all that they're doing. And lastly, I think it was Nick, I think you had mentioned about college and universities at our last board meeting and talking about, are there any colleges or universities that have ESL bilingual teaching programs?
Yes.
So I did research that, and there are 23 colleges and universities that have those bilingual ESL teaching programs. So I reached out to see if they had any students who would be interested in internships, at least to put the bug in people's ears. I had quite a few responses of thank you, but there's no one looking to place anybody in our part of the state right now, but they at least have our contact information. If they have someone that becomes available looking to do an internship, they can reach out to Darlington and see if we can at least make that connection either at DEMS or at the high school or both. So wanted to share that with you, and that's it for the principal's report.
Thanks, Rich.
Okay, thanks, Rich. That brings us to item 16, which is matters for executive session, including an ESL teacher candidate and DEMS ELA teacher candidate. Those are appropriate for executive session under Wisconsin statute 19.85, parent 1, parent C.
Motion to go closed. Second.
Motion by Schilling, second by Stopper to go into closed session. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, that motion passes unanimously. I'm going to shut off the live stream. And we will.